Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and I'm here to bring you a one-player game of Spirit Island. So this game is cooperative. You can actually control up to 4 characters, even if you're playing by yourself. And actually a lot of people choose to play with 2 for the interactions, but I wanted to see what a one-player version of this game would film like, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to be playing as Lightning Swift Strike. We are basically an aggressive and quick character who does not necessarily have a lot of defense, so we're going to see how this goes. So, if you don't know, Spirit Island is basically like reverse Settlers of Catan. The settlers are coming onto our island, and we don't want them here. So, as a spirit, my goal is to help guide my people, the Dahan, and get rid of the invaders. So what counts as a victory is actually going to change throughout this game. So right now, at Terror Level 1, I have to get rid of every single invader, explorer, town, and city from this board in order to win, which, as you're about to see, is almost impossible. So, I need to also be causing fear in order to draw fear cards, which give you some bonuses, but also to increase the fear level, which makes my win condition get easier, as you're hopefully going to see, if I don't get creamed right away. So, the other thing that I've done for setup is my invaders have already had an explorer turn, and they're exploring areas with sand on them. So, that is the beginning of this game, and we're going to see how it plays out. So the first action I take on my turn, because the Spirit Phase comes first, is I need to pick a growth action. So I can pick one of these 3 actions for my turn. What I'm going to do this time is I need some energy to power my cards, so I'm going to add 1 presence and gain 3 energy. So I'm going to go for card combos pretty early. That means I'm going to take one. So basically when you add your presence, you can choose to go on the track that gives you more energy, or the track that lets you play more cards. You need energy to power cards, but if you have a lot of energy and nothing to spend it on, that can be frustrating too. So I'm going to go ahead and put my presence here. My goal is eventually to be able to touch every part of the island with a shrine of mine. That is my goal. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose what cards to play. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th energy for this turn, which I can use to pay for cards. I can also play up to 3. So, let's see what the best option for me is going to be. I'd like to play multiple cards, and the reason that I want to do that is that I also want to try to see if I can get a combo to help accelerate my destruction of towns and cities in these areas. So, for example, if I can get 3 fire elements and 2 of the purple ones, I can destroy a town after the invader turn, a town that's within range of my shrine. So, it's one of those things where I want to make sure that I'm maximizing my ability to destroy stuff, instill fear, and get these people out of here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by playing Lightning's Boon. Target spirit may use 2 powers as if they were fast powers this turn. That means that the powers that I use can use immediately. So the first one I'm going to do is do 1 damage to each invader, and that's actually going to allow me to totally clear this area out, because it's within 1 of me. So that explorer is just gone. And then I'm going to play Harbingers of Lightning, so I can push up to 2 Dahan. So if I push Dahan into an area that has a town or a city, I can also cause fear. So I'm going to go ahead, since I'm in with 1 range of this Dahan, I'm going to push him over here, and I'm going to cause some fear. Hopefully I can get these other Dahan over here to help me deal with the city. Hopefully I also don't draw a jungle card, I might regret this. But that's what we're going to do. So we're going to spend all of our energy. And the other reason that we've done this is that we are able to use this combo after the enemy turn to destroy one of their towns. Probably this one, or maybe the one that gets built in here. Okay, so let's see what happens. These will be my discard after this turn. Now we're going to build. So everybody on a sand land is going to build, and that means that this explorer is going to build 1 town. And that's it, because this one's cleared off. Yes. Now that they've built, we're going to have a new exploration turn. Ugh. Okay. So this means that everybody who is in the jungle, well, basically every land that's a jungle land that's touching an invader is going to spawn an explorer. So we put an explorer here, an explorer here, and it's going to be up to me to figure out what to do about these jerks. The good news, however, is that I'm able to destroy a town. So I'm going to go ahead, since I know that the sand areas are going to be the ones that get ravaged this next turn, I'm going to go ahead and play my special ability to destroy this town. So it is gone, and as a result, I cause one more fear. And causing fear is definitely something that you want to do in this game. So I'm going to have a slightly weaker turn this next turn. It's my turn again, and I need to pick the growth action that I want. Let's think about it. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. I want to go ahead and pick my cards back up, reclaim my cards. That gets me 1 energy, and it also allows me to pick up a power card. So I'm going to look for a minor power, which means drawing 4 off the top of the minor power deck and choosing 1. So let's draw 4 power cards and see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, well, one thing that's good is we have some 0 value ones, which is great because that is going to mean that I don't have to pay energy to use them, and I can use up to 3 cards. So it might be a nice sort of free deal. Okay, let's have a look. Defend. Causing some fear. If invaders are present, we can do some pushing, but slow. Okay, I think this is what I want. So it's called Drift Down into Slumber. I can defend for 1, and if the target land is either a jungle or a sandy area instead, I can defend 4. So I'm not going to maybe want this turn, but when there's some attacking in the jungle, I might want to move some Dahan over here, defend for 4, and eliminate some threats in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and take that card and discard the rest. Yes. Okay, so I have 5 cards. I'm going to pick up 1 energy. So now I have 2 energy to spend. If I can do a lot with that, that'd be great, but probably not. Okay, let's see. So one thing I'd like to do is I want to kind of start moving some Dahan over here so they can go on the attack. So I definitely want to at some point spend Harbingers of the Lightning. That's a good idea, I think. I think I'm also going to play Raging Storm. So it's a slow activation power, but it means that I can knock out this town and cause some fear while I'm at it. So that's definitely not a bad choice. So now it's going to be the bad guy's turn to see what happens next. So they're going to ravage in the sandy area, so nothing's going to happen here. And then here, this explorer is going to attack for 1, do 1 damage to my 2 HP Dahan, and then they're going to come back at him and kill him. Excellent. So basically, explorers have 1 HP and do 1 damage. Towns are 2 and 2. Cities are 3 and 3. And Dahan are 2 and 2. So that is, I mean, it's a pretty simple combat system. The other thing to notice is that explorers and all other invaders do damage to both the land and the Dahan at the same time. It takes 2 damage to create blight. So because there's only 1 damage to the land, we're okay. So now we're going to build, sadly, which means that we're going to have a town pop up in this jungle, and we're going to have a city pop up in this one, which I'm not a fan of, but what can I do right now? So that's done, and we're going to have some exploration in the wetlands. So explorer here, and explorer here. Okay, so now it's my turn to do stuff again. Those are the 2 energy that I have. I should spend those. And I get to push up to 2 Dahan from 1 area. And I will cause fear if I push any into a land that has a town or city. I will also be able to destroy 1 town. So, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and push this Dahan in here to cause some fear. And then I'm going to go ahead and destroy this town, which will cause both 1 fear just because, and 1 fear for destroying the town. So the thing that's particularly great about this is that it also allows me to draw a fear card. So before the next enemy turn where they build and ravage, I get to remove 1 explorer from an inland land, which I think is pretty great. So that was a pretty successful turn, even though there's always more invaders coming and it's a little bit difficult. We're generating some fear. That's definitely a good thing. Okay, so these go in the discard, and now it's my turn again. I will choose a growth action and decide which of my cards to play. I need some energy, so the first thing I'm going to do is put one of my presents on another area. So I think I'm going to go here, and the reason for that is if I can get shrines here, that means that I'm going to be able to touch every single spot on this island with a Shrine of Mind, which gives my reach a lot more power. So for doing that, I'm also going to gain 3 energy, in addition to the 1 that I automatically gain per turn. So let's see what it enables me to do. Okay, so I might just go all out on this turn. One thing I definitely want to do is drift down into Slumber. It defends for 1, but if the target land is a jungle or a sand area, then I can defend for 4. And what that means is that these guys will be able to do no damage whatsoever to the Dahan in my area, which is fantastic. Let's see what else I can do. So one other thing I'd like to do, so I'm going to lose someone over here. I'm just going to leave that alone. I might like to play Raging Storm, which allows me to do damage to each invader. The question is, where would I like to do that damage? I already know I'm going to get to remove an explorer from an inland land. So what that means is that I can remove either this guy and prevent him from building, or I can remove this guy and make it easier to wipe out that whole jungle area. So, because basically inland means not touching the ocean. So I'm going to have some nice choices before we get going on this. I think what I'm probably going to do though is I'm going to end up removing this guy. So, and this will take care of that with the defend 1. So, you know what? I'm actually just going to kind of let things take their course this turn. It would be really nice to do more, but I don't want to blow all my energy and all of my cards when I don't have to. I can work on extending my presence next turn instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and defend 1 in this area. So what that's going to lead to is, this is an immediate defense, and now we're going to move into the invader turn. So because I had enough fear, I can remove 1 explorer from an inland land. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one because it prevents him from building on the wetland. Now, this area is completely defended during the Ravage Phase, and because we can defend for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My Dahan's going to attack back and take out that explorer, which still leaves us a city, but it's better than nothing. And then over here, we're going to have a full-on combat. So the invaders actually attack first for 1, 2, 3. Sadly, that is enough to blight the land. It's also enough to kill one of my Dahan and injure another, but he'll return in the next turn. The good news is that my Dahan can now attack back for 4, and that means that they're going to kill both the city and the town and the explorer. So at least we're doing an okay job of trying to clear things out. So now that the ravaging is done, we're gonna have a build phase, and that means sadly that we're gonna get another town on this wetland. So this wetland remains clear, but we got a mess on our hands in this area. So we're going to need to figure out what we want to do about it, because they're going to ravage next turn. Now we're going to have some more exploration. Oh, and they're coming back to the sands. So explorer here, explorer here. Oh, and by the way, this blight should have come from here. When you add blight, it comes from your overall blight supply. So I can get 4 more if I have to reach for another one. If there's ever no blight here, I lose the game. So I have to be really careful about how that plays out. But the good news is that more or less we made it through that turn, and we have a couple of cards to play next time, which is good because I would really like to do some more damage in areas where we're about to have trouble. All right, so I'm a little torn because I'd really like to put some more of my presence out there, but I also want to do some work in these areas that lets me gain fear and do some combos. So I'm going to take a risk. This could be a tactical error, but I'm going to reclaim my cards, which allows me to gain another power card. I'm going to go for a minor power. If you take a major, you have to forget a power that you've already learned. Okay. Ooh, okay, I want this. I'm gonna take Elemental Boon because it'll make it easier for me to get combos down here without using up actions that I don't feel like using at a given moment. It's also gonna give me 1 energy, so at least I got something out of that. So let's plan out what kind of trouble we'd like to make for our little friends out here. Okay. Here's what I want to do. We'll keep this for now. We'll keep this aside for now. We don't need to use that. I really want to use Shattered Homesteads because it's damaging and therefore fun. Let's see. Harbingers of Lightning will let me push some Dahan around. One damage to each invader. Okay, so let's figure out. I have 5 energy. What would I like to do with it? I think one thing I'd really like to do is I want to use Lightning's Boon to shatter some homesteads. Or is that what I want? I'm already going to get damage here, and I can take out one of the little towns that appears later if I like. Let's think. Alright, so here's what I've decided to do. I want to make sure I get enough combos to destroy one of these towns, but I'm not going to play anything fast. I'm going to go ahead and play some slow powers as well as Elemental Boon that's going to give me 3 different elements of my choice, which is basically just going to mean another fire and another purple so I can destroy a town. So the way this is going to end up working is first we're going to have, unfortunately, a Ravage Phase where we get another Blight. Ugh, that sucks. We're going to have to figure out something to do about that. We'll build on the sand. And we're going to explore in the jungle again. Hopefully we can do more about this time. So now what's going to happen is it's my turn. That means that I'm going to get to push up to 2 Dahan. So I'm going to go ahead and push these guys over here, which is going to give me a fear. I'm going to destroy 1 town that's within range 2 of my shrine. So that's going to be this town. So that's going to cause both 1 fear and another fear, which lets us draw a fear card. And then I'm actually going to cause another fear because I get to destroy 1 more town that's within 1 range of my shrine. So basically on this next Ravage turn, not too much is going to happen, and I'm freer to try to focus on the jungle. Or perhaps I'm doing some cleanup here in the wetlands. So that was actually a fairly solid turn, and I should have spent 3 energy from that. Okay, so that means that before the next invader turn, they are not going to get to build in lands that have a city, which is actually great for us because it means that they will not build in this jungle. I can just deal with what's there. So that's actually very encouraging. There's some work to be done here. So it's my turn again. Also, hang on, I should put 1 more fear down here for that city I just destroyed. Excellent. Okay, so it's my turn again. I have some pretty good cards. I think what we're gonna do is I need to add some presence to this board, big time. And I also would like to have a little bit more energy. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna turn this into a shrine and gain 3 energy. And then I'm going to choose which power cards I'd like to play. So, what would I like? I think definitely one good idea is we're going to need to keep causing some fear. I definitely want to play Drift Down into Slumber on this jungle. And one of the reasons that's going to be great is that it again defends 4, which means there will be no damage. Then my Dahan will hit back for 6 and they'll destroy a city, which actually causes 2 fear. So we're on a good path that way. Let's see, what else can I do that would be helpful? I think I might actually go ahead and just play these cards that let me do damage to each invader quickly so that I can build up the elements that I need. Oh, no, that won't do it. It's not quite right. All right, actually I'm just gonna hang on to these 2 cards for now. And we're just gonna play Drift Down into Slumber. So, let's see. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. It is good for me to play these. So I'm gonna go ahead and play Raging Storm, which causes 1 damage to each invader to prevent building in the jungle. So there won't be any building here, and there's not going to be any here either because invaders will not build this turn in lands with a city. So I'm able to kind of quickly handle that build phase. So the Ravage Phase, nothing's actually going to happen because they only do damage for 1. They can't blight me, and I don't have anything to hit back at them. So that was sort of like a wasted Ravage for them, although I didn't get rid of Explorers, which isn't great. Next time, they're going to Ravage in the jungle. And now they're exploring into my mountains, and I can't say that I'm happy about it. We're going to have to figure out something to do for this next turn.